The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
The Pharisees went off and plotted how they might entrap Jesus in speech. They sent their disciples to him with the Herodians, saying, "Teacher, we know that you are a truthful man, and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. And you are not concerned with anyone's opinion, for you do not regard a person's status. Tell us then, what is your opinion? Is it lawful to pay the census tax to Caesar or not?" Knowing their malice, Jesus said, "Why are you testing me, you hypocrites? Show me the coin that pays the census tax." Then they handed him the Roman coin. He said to them, "Whose image is this, and whose inscription?" They replied, "Caesar's." At that he said to them, "Then repay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Okay. You're so meek, but fine. Okay. Why not say, "I'm great, I'm good, because I'm with God"? Today, we have a set of readings that is seemingly easy to understand, and yet there is some difficulty as well. And that is why allow me to begin initially with the gospel, and then we go directly to the first reading. In the gospel, it speaks of how there are a group of people who do not like Jesus. And who are these people? One group, the religious group. They are the Pharisees, the heads of the synagogues, the priests. And there are other religious groups, the scribes. They are the ones responsible in making people understand how the law should be understood. But then, they are not just the people surrounding Jesus. There is also the other group we call the Herodians. And the Herodians, they do not belong to a political group. They are not as well a religious group. So who are these people? The Herodians are Jews, but they are Hellenistic. So when we say Hellenistic, they are either born in Greece and they are Jews, or one of the parents is actually Greek and another is a Jew. So that's why it's called Hellenistic. And then these people who call themselves Herodians, they love Herod. They are in support of Herod. Now the empire is so big, so vast, it must not be, it should be run by several people. So the emperor, Tiberius Caesar, had to have other people down there to run it. And one of these guys is actually Herod. And then this particular district run by Herod, these are the people who love him. So they call themselves Herodians. Now, these two groups, they never liked Jesus. And that is why the intention is always to look for ways to destroy Jesus. So that's the malice. So, day to day, Jesus would walk around, and this is just an example of how his day would go. Very ordinary. And then seemingly, there was a question asked of him, "Jesus, okay lang ba na ang mga tao magbibigay ng buwis sa emperador?" Okay, the question seemingly is so ordinary, but then maybe not. So let's forget about the gospel first. We go to the first reading. In the first reading, according to Isaiah, okay, there was a time when the Jewish people were taken by the Babylonians and they stayed in a foreign land with so much difficulty and badness. They got so tired. But then after several decades, God said, I am going to move you out of Babylon. And so he asked the king of Persia, whose name is Cyrus, to help them. And that is why what we hear now is people from their exile in Babylon are now coming out, going back to their land through the help of Cyrus, because God told Cyrus to help them. Unsay connection? Anong connection nito sa gospel? The question should be, why in the first place were they taken by the Babylonians? So let's move to history. It says in history that there was a time that these people would be paying taxes to the Babylonians. And then suddenly, the king of Judah decided, we will no longer pay our taxes. And for 3 years, they didn't. And that's the reason why, angered by this, the king of Babylon, together with his soldiers, marched on. They went to Judah, they went to Jerusalem and took them. So when they were defeated, tens of thousands of these Jewish people were taken forcibly and brought to Babylon. So that's the reason lumabas na ngayon ang tax. But the question is, how is it even possible for the Babylonians to defeat these people when God is always with these chosen people? Paano nangyari? God would always protect, God would always guide them, God will always lead them. That's the question to be asked. Bakit, di ba? Bakit hinayaan ng Diyos na matalo ng mga Babylonians? And here is the answer. Because these Jewish people, they committed idolatry. Anong ibig sabihin ng idolatry? Idolatry is a situation wherein, other than God, you allow money, power, people, things, life to become God, and the true God you push away. That is idolatry. Halimbawa, okay, sa kagustuhan na yumaman ng yumaman, itutulak mo ang Diyos. Ipipikit ang mata just to get the money. Money has become your God. Idolatry. But it's not just money. Okay, even power. When you do everything just to get it by hook or by crook, by stepping on people, do whatever you can to get it, that is idolatry. When the things of God are being pushed away. People, sometimes we love people more than God. Take for example, when we are excited by actors and actresses or celebrities. Diba, we try to giggle, we ogle with them. Uy, actor, hi. And then, when your life is all about actors, and then you push God away, that is idolatry. So there are so many ways to commit this, and these Jewish people did that. And even when the prophets were there to remind them, they never listened. They went on and on. Plus, the other disobediences they have committed by not following the commandments of God. So after a while, when they became deaf and hard-headed, stubborn, finally God said, okay, when things happen to you, I'll let it be. Hahayaan ko nang matuto kayo. And that's the reason why with the tax problem and these problems committed by the people, alas, they ended up exiled. So now let's go back to the gospel. So at first glance, we think that paying the taxes was just an ordinary way. Kasi naman sa Pilipinas, normal lang naman na magbibigay ka ng tax. Diba? When you buy something, something is taken out. Diba? When you pay for gasoline, you know, kung titignan mo doon, may tax din na tatanggalin doon, VAT. Diba? Or if you work, may tatanggalin din na tax. Do business, may tax din dyan. Pero, hindi naman talaga tayo nagagalit sa tax eh. Because we know when we give tax, it should go back to the people. Bridges, diba? Mga structures, hospitalization, and on. Nagkakaproblema lang tayo kapag may corruption. Doon ang problema. And that is why we hate giving the tax. So, iba. Dito, anong nangyayari? They have pala at the back of their heads a certain very bad past that anything to do with tax problema. Mabigat na eh. Dala-dala nila. They were always reminded by this. Once in our history, we suffered because of this. And that is why now that they are paying taxes again, because the Romans took them. Natalo sila. So now they begin to pay taxes to the emperor. So that is why it's a very valid question. So when they approached Jesus and told him, "You're a very truthful man, you never lie. Hindi ka sinungaling eh." So sa palagay mo, anong opinion mo? Dapat ba na ang tao ay magbayad ng buwis sa emperador o hindi? Now the question is, okay, it seems also equally easy to understand, pero bakit sabi ni Jesus, eto na naman kayo? Diba, kakamot-kamot ng ulo, sasabihin, eto na naman kayo, wala na ba kayong iniisip, wala na ba kayong magandang gawin, kundi hanapan ako ng butas, hanapan ako ng panahon na para ako'y maipit ninyo. He was saying that, ano ba to? So what's up? And then Jesus said, okay, if Jesus will say, it's okay to pay the emperor, then he will have the anger of the Jewish people. Diba? Wala kang alam sa kasaysayan natin. Okay? Dapat ang buwis natin ay babalik sa atin. And it's not good associating with dirty people. Yun ang galit na makukuha niya. Kung sasabihin naman ni Jesus, let's not pay. We are Jewish people. Then, they will now tell the government, he is a rebel. So, this or that, Sugi. This is the malice. Because they were after Jesus, not wanting a very good answer, but a way to kill him. But Jesus was smarter. And that's why he now says, okay, I'll answer that. Despite your bad thinking, do you have a coin? Yeah, we have some. And so they had to take it out from their pockets and show them, okay. And then Jesus never even touched the coin. He just simply said, whose face is in the coin and whose name is imprinted on the coin? And then they answered chorously, Caesar's. And Jesus answered, give to Caesar what is his, and to God what is due to God. Now let's talk about this. So there is now a symbolism. When we mean Caesar, we mean the things of the world. Okay, when we are alive, we need to also equally live in this world. And the world also calls us to do something about it. So we give it to the world. But then when it is for God, give it to God. Your life, your everything, even your prayers, your suffering, your joys, give it all to God. It's His. So what does it mean? Then we move to the second reading. The second reading speaks of the very first written literature in the New Testament. There are 26 books written there. And the very first one that is written is the first letter of Paul to the Thessalonians. Now, Thessalonica, I'm not so sure with my geography, but I think it's the northern part of the Greece. And then I think you can pass by it along the Roman Via Ignatia road. That is the road going to Rome. Okay. And then some of the people here got converted after listening to Paul. And then when Paul heard about this, he started writing them, encouraging them. And then he was telling them, when you took Christ in your life, okay, never ever think that life will be easy. Live well according to the things of God. And you are surrounded by stories that some people who took Jesus in their lives are already persecuted. But do not allow this suffering to eat you and kill you. And that is why, what is the connection here? In the first reading, he says, even when the people suffered a long time in Babylon, there is always a God who remembers, and he will say, okay, enough of the suffering. Come out. Begin a new life again. And this time with me. Even the Son of God, God, who is also equally a true man, he wasn't exempted. His life was filled with suffering. And this is an example. There will be people looking for ways to destroy you. And God would allow things to happen to his Son. He suffered. He got crucified. He died. But because he gave his all and stood to his Father, God glorified his Son. And so, focusing now on the early church, Paul now says, okay, even when problems do come, always remember that we are God's. Iyata sa Ginoo. And okay, even when things do happen, when we stick to Him, He will not forget us. He will always bring us to where we should be. So ngayon, nakikita natin ang koneksyon ng tatlong readings. But what is this for us now? Today we celebrate Mission Sunday. What is Mission Sunday? Mission Sunday is a moment of truth when we begin to see that we are not only responsible for the people who are in front of us, surrounding us in the province of Surigao or even in the Philippines. God must also be known by those people outside of the country. But Father, dito pa lang nangangailangan na kami ng pagkakilala. Yeah, that's true. But it doesn't mean that we will not help others. And that is why Mission Sunday is remembering that we are also responsible in bringing other people by way of what we give. Okay? Whatever gift we give, they will all be pulled in to help missions everywhere in the world. So as we continue our mission here in our province, we also join in the missions all throughout the world. And that is why Mission Sunday is one powerful area that the things of God must be lived. Ano sabi niya? Give to God what is God's. And one example of this is to bring back all of my children to me. So Mission Sunday is a powerful Sunday.